Jeff's Superscript is brought to you by Black Cat Comics and Collectibles. In my opinion, the best comic shop and clubhouse on the internet. Follow them at Black Cat Burbank on Instagram and join their claim sales on Tuesdays for new books and Fridays for back issues. And don't forget to ask about joining their Stray Cats Club for special perks.
Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos. Today's video is going to be another mail call unboxing. Now, I have to warn you in advance. If you're here to see me open up some amazing CGC graded book or some awesome key comic book, this is not the video for you. That is not what's going to be taking place in this video. And because I value you and your time so much, I wanted to let you know that ahead of time. So if this is just something that I bought from Amazon, but what it did is it got me thinking. It got me thinking a little bit about comic book collecting in general. And so I'm just looking at this unboxing as an excuse for me to kind of editorialize on comic book collecting a little bit. So if you're not interested in that type of video, thank you so much for stopping in, for checking this out. You are excused. Thank you so much. Definitely make sure that you come back to later videos though, because there's going to be what you're looking for in upcoming videos. And don't forget to hit the like button on your way out, of course. All right, for those of you who have remained, thank you so much for sticking around to hear me basically just kind of talk about comic book collecting in general for a moment. I appreciate the fact that you care what I think about it at all. I would invite you to take this opportunity to go ahead and hit the like button. If you're sticking around after that opening and you're like, yeah, I still want to hear what Jeff has to say, that means you like me, you really, really like me. So I would encourage you to please go ahead and hit that like button. Okay, let's go ahead and open up this package. This package was purchased from Amazon. And so it confirmed it is not like any kind of super awesome CGC slab or comic book. Although you can find comic books sometimes on Amazon, it's just not the place I go for comic books at all. But it is the type of place I go for books. And this is exactly a book. And it is a big one. This is, ladies and gentlemen, X-Men Volume 1 Omnibus. This book collects, oh wow, all of these books back here. It is Giant Size X-Men, and then it's X-Men 94 through issue 131. Collects all of these issues here, all in one collected volume. So, why did I purchase this? Well, if you've been watching every single one of my videos, and if you have, wow, thank you so much. If you haven't, you might not know that my kind of thing that I have been collecting recently is I've been putting together a Chris Claremont run of the X-Men. Namely, his issues of X-Men from issue number 94 to 279. Now, I know that he wrote other X-Men books, but I am focused on his run, Chris Claremont's run, from issue 94 through 279. And I actually put together issues 133 through 279 pretty efficiently and pretty quickly, and I was really excited about my progress. And then I hit a wall. Putting together books 94 through 132 was proving much more difficult than I had anticipated. Now, I can find these books. They're out there, but there were two problems I was having. One, I'm a bit of a condition snob, and I only want these books if I can find them in the highest possible condition. And that means to me, functionally, no flaws. Maybe one or two minor color-breaking spine ticks at the most, but definitely no color-breaking creases, no tears or missing pieces. In a million years, I wouldn't even touch those books. It didn't matter if it was key, it didn't matter what it is. I wanted the absolute sharpest, copy I possibly could. And in this range, I mean, we're talking about books that are 40 plus years old. It's tough to find ones that are in that great range. I also could have just thrown money at the problem. And every time I found one that met my condition requirement, I could have just spent a bunch of money and said, you know what, there it is, I'm going to buy it. But I am not a rich man. And I am not the kind of person, in addition to that, to throw money at my problems. I'm pretty frugal when it's all said and done. At least I want to make sure that I spend my money wisely. So I was having a hard time filling in this range of books. I found a few here and there. For example, I found, an issue 104, 105. I had an issue 106 from when I was a kid that's in bad condition. I will be upgrading that copy. An issue 107. I was finding some of them and I sent them to CGC. And as you could tell, I got pretty good results with them with this as an example. This 9.6 with off-white to white pages. I love this cover so much. I think it's amazing. But I was having a hard time finding the other ones, many of the other ones in this range, especially the Keys. Books like 94, 109, 120, 121, 129. I was having a really, really hard time. Now, part of the reason that I originally decided I wanted to put together this Chris Claremont run is I wanted to read them. I wanted to read them all. Chris Claremont has said in the past that he basically did not tell X-Men story after X-Men story after X-Men story after X-Men story. He was telling one long, continuous X-Men story for decades. And I wanted to go on that journey. I wanted to start with Giant Size X-Men, even though he was a contributor, but he was not credited on Giant Size X-Men. So I'll include Giant Size X-Men, but I definitely wanted to go from issue 94 all the way through 279 and just read the whole thing and go on Chris Claremont's journey. But once again, having a difficult time finding those books to read, I was starting to get a little frustrated. In addition, I realized that, one, in order to find the books that I wanted to find in the kind of condition that I wanted to find them, likely I was going to have to buy them already graded and slabbed. That would mean I would never get a chance to read them. In addition, there were copies like this one that I bought and I read, and then I took off the CGC before having issue number 94, all the ones leading up to it. So I was never going to have that continuous experience of reading the story. So I decided to myself, I am going to buy this omnibus. Then I will be able to read all of these issues back to back to back to back to back. I just need to find issue 132, and then I have all of the single issues ready to go. But then I thought about things like my 266, which is the first appearance of Gambit. That's also already graded and slabbed. There's also issues number 134, which is the first appearance of Dark Phoenix, which isn't in here, that I've already graded and slabbed. There's Days of Future Past, 141 and 142, not in here, that I've read, but I also graded and slabbed, so I wouldn't be able to go through and read them all. So I thought, well, I guess maybe that means I'll have to buy the omnibus for issue number 2 and issue number 3. I mean, like omnibus not for issue number 2, but for omnibus volume number 2, and then volume number 3, and then volume number 4, and then maybe all the volumes of the omnibuses. And these books aren't cheap. This book retails at $100 plus tax. Amazon sold it for $72 plus tax. So with its free shipping and with tax, it cost me $80. This is a big, hefty, heavy hardcover book. Is it worth $80 to me? Considering it's collecting all of these amazing comic books in it, absolutely. But did I want a shelf full of these? No. Will I end up with a shelf full of these? Maybe. But then it brought me to kind of sort of my final question. if I am going to be buying all of these as volumes of omnibuses, why buy the individual issues? Why go through all the time and expense and energy and effort and spend all that time hunting down the individual copies? And I really had to think about that. Why? Why? And frankly, it's an intangible answer. I don't have a good answer why. It's not like I can say, well, I'm buying them because these keys, I can buy them now at a certain price, and then at some point in the future, they're going to be worth money, so it's a great investment. Yeah, I don't know that that's necessarily true. I do believe that all X-Men books will see increases in value over time. I personally believe that. I do believe they will all hold their value. So I don't think I'm throwing money away on them. I actually think I'm just storing money in these books. And some of the keys I think are absolutely going to be good investments. But in general, owning every single copy of the X-Men is not a good investment. Like I said, I think it'll hold its value, but as far as increasing in value, I don't think it's a significantly solid investment. So why do it? Why bother hunting down every single issue? I could just hunt down the keys and focus on those. Well, here's the answer that I came up with of why. Because I want to. Now that's stupid, but that's my answer. And I think it's the answer of a collector. I think that people are either collectors or they're not. And some people, have the thing, and among collectors, there are people that love to collect one thing and could care less about another thing. I love to collect comic books, but I could care less about baseball cards, and I'm sure that there are people who are the other way. But there is just something, first and foremost, I think, about owning these things, about having these comic books. And the X-Men, for me, as a child, brought me so much joy and established in me what has become a lifelong love for comic books. When I was a kid, my first comic books that I collected were X-Men comic books. And I remember taking them into my bedroom and reading them and being, this is cliche, but being transported to a magical world of mutants and superheroes and their adventures. And it made me so happy, and I enjoyed it so much. And to this day, when I read a fantastic comic book, that transformative, that kind of transcendent experience of living in these world of superheroes takes me back to when I was a kid in my bedroom and how happy reading those books made me. So having them, to me, it's like a tangible piece of a reminder of what made me happiest in my childhood. I can look at these books and I can remember how happy I was, and how much I enjoyed reading these for the first time. In addition, I think part of what makes collectors, and part of the joy of collecting as well, is the hunt. I think that there's a little bit of man, it's tough to find a giant size X-Men in good condition that I can afford. But you finally find one, and you take it home, and you have it in your possession, man, that's a really good feeling. There's a feeling of pride and of accomplishment. It might be fabricated. It's not real accomplishment. But it makes you happy. And you went on the hunt, and you put in the effort, and you did the research, and you called around, and you went to conventions, and you went to shops, and you scoured eBay many times a day, many days a week for many months out of the year, Some people do. I'm on eBay way too much, just kind of looking at to see what might pop up that might pique my interest. Once you have something, once you find it, once you get it, that sense of accomplishment really does feel really good. And it really does feel good to have it in your hands. Granted, that being said, you might find yourself, that 9.0 copy of X-Men 94 that you were always looking for. And then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, it'd be really nice to have a 9.4 copy. Or, yeah, it's got off-white to white pages. Wouldn't that be nice to have one with white pages? That's where, that's kind of where collecting becomes a bit of a sickness, maybe a little bit, or addiction. And I think we all need to kind of be careful of slipping too far, of like never being fully happy or never being fully content with your collection. If you find yourself never happy with your collection or content with it, you should maybe consider not collecting anymore, because it's like a drug that you take that doesn't get you high anymore. Well, now all you have is the addiction. Now all you have is the worst parts of it. Hopefully, as a collector, you're able to find books that fulfill you, that make you happy, where you find it and you look at it and you're like, this is everything I've always wanted. I'm so happy with this. Yes, there might be a 9.8 white pages or 9.9 or 10.0 out there of this book, but this is my copy. This is the one that I found. This is the one that belongs to me. This is the one that makes me happy. So, like I said, all of this thought and all this kind of musing came for me out of the purchasing of this omnibus. And I think it's good to kind of set limits for yourself as a collector. You can't collect everything. You have to know when to say when. And this book helped me, in a way, know when to say when. Now, am I still going to finish my Claremont run, or is this omnibus going to be good enough for me? The answer is no, this omnibus is not going to be good enough for me. I am going to be finishing my Claremont collection. In fact, stay tuned, because in the next week or two, there will be another video that will be coming up that's going to be pretty awesome. I'm really excited to share it with all of you. So that's something for all of us to look forward to in the weeks to come. But in the meantime, I'm happy to have this guy. I'm happy to have these stories in a readable fashion, all collected right here, right now. And I'm also glad to be a comic book collector. And I appreciate all of you collectors as well, who will stick around and watch a video of me going off and, like I said at the beginning, editorializing about comic book collecting here in this video. Thank you all so much. If you have, this is the first one of my videos that you have watched, amazing that you watched it. I am so honored. Thank you so much. I strongly suggest that you take the time to hit the subscribe guy right here and make sure to hit the notification bell so that you're notified when I put out new videos just like this and other mail call unboxings that are going to be coming soon. Keep an eye out for them. Make sure to hit the like button as well if you haven't already. And once again, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.